Hello everyone and welcome! In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to clean a pair of sheepskin boots, commonly known as the UGG boot. Now, many years ago on my YouTube channel I had posted a very unorthodox and somewhat controversial video on how to clean UGG boots. The pair in that video was so dirty and so trash, and my kid even pooped on them when they were a baby, when I was changing their diaper, that using the manufacturer's approved method of cleaning was not going to cut it, and I was ready to basically get rid of them because they looked so bad. And so in that video, which I can post in the description below, shows me soaking a pair of Uggs, in a sink of warm soapy water, and just basically washing them to the point where all the stains were gone. But the end result was actually extremely good. The boots came out looking almost brand new, with the exception of fading of the boot because the type of dye that they use has a tendency to run when they're wet. Now, of course, the boots turned out great. They ended up lasting 8 years, and there was a lot of love for the video, but there was also a lot of haters in that video because they said that that's not the manufacturer's approved method, that, sheepskin gets destroyed when it gets soaked like that, yada, yada, yada. So I decided that, fast forward to 2018, that I would take my nicely worn pair of classic tall boots in chestnut color and clean them using the manufacturer's approved cleaning method. Now, these boots are about 5 years old. They're well worn on the soles, but as you can see, the boots themselves are actually in pretty decent shape. But I made the fateful mistake of actually wearing these in our first snowfall, where now the dye has run on the tips of the boots and there's a bunch of water and dirt stains and a bunch of salt stains on the back of the boot. And so, contrary to popular belief, UGG classic boots are not meant for wet climates. It's silly because they're supposed to be super warm and comfortable, but you can't wear them in wet conditions. And unfortunately, that's just the nature of the boot. So that being said, I want to clean these boots using the factory approved method so that they can look like my brand new pair of classic talls, or at least look close to it. So let's dive right in. Okay guys, so before we start cleaning our boots, we want to make sure that we've got the appropriate supplies so that we actually have a successful cleaning. So we'll start off with the actual cleaner itself. I've got a bottle of money's worth and best quality shoe care Australian sheepskin cleaner and conditioner. This is basically the same product as the genuine UGG cleaner, but at half the price. You can buy 2 bottles of this on Amazon for about $15 Canadian. You want to also have either a sponge, 2 sponges, or 2 microfiber cloths. One to apply clean water onto the boot before you clean, and then another one to actually apply the cleaner, and then you could use either or to rinse the boots down afterwards. We also want to get a toothbrush so that we can scrub out any stubborn stains and also clean along the boot to sole sort of mating line there. And then we also want to have a small pail with some cold clean water, which we will use to initially wet the boot, and then also we'll dump that, get fresh water, and then rinse the boot afterwards. Moisten the surfaces like this. You don't want to wet the boot completely, and we're just gonna work in sections here. So it's just damp. Now you can see dye's actually coming off of the boot, and that's normal because of the nature of how these boots are dyed. No cause for alarm, just don't soak it. So once I've got that moistened, like this, can then go and take another cloth, shake up your cleaner, and then apply some, just to get that cloth nice and moist with cleaner. Gently rub the surfaces of the sheepskin. Now your toothbrush, if you want to clean the seam here, you can just apply a little bit of the cleaner to it, and then just give it a real gentle brush. So once that's done, I'm going to move on and get some cold water, and then I'm going to start moistening the backside of my boot. Get some cleaner. So now that I've done the top surfaces and the front and the heel, we're going to go ahead and now and clean the boot shaft. Taking our cleaner and just sponging it down. So we changed our water, we've rinsed out our cloth. This is now the boot rinsing phase, where we take, again, a damp sponge or microfiber, and we're just going to wipe down the boot. And that removes any remaining dirt, as well as excess cleaner. This is what the boots look like after they've been, I guess, sponge cleaned. What we're going to do next is take a bunch of newspapers and we're just going to stuff the boots inside. And that's just to help the boot keep its shape. You don't need a lot, you just need a little bit to stuff into the bottom and halfway up the boot shaft. So we're going to let these boots dry overnight, just in the open air at room temperature. You don't want to dry these boots using a hair dryer or a clothes dryer or even an air register, because what happens is that excess heat and evaporation of water will actually shrink these sheepskin boots. So this is what the pair of boots looks like after drying for 24 hours. What we're going to do next is we're going to remove all the newspaper that we stuffed inside of our boots, and we're just going to, I guess, restore the nap on the boot by using a suede brush, which is really just a soft bristled brush, and brushing gently brushing these surfaces of the boot to restore that look. Now you don't want to brush back and forth because that will actually damage the boot. You just want to gently brush in one direction. Now if you don't have one of these brushes, you can just use an old toothbrush that's worn and soft to achieve the same thing. So when we're done brushing the suede, we want to protect it from future staining. And what I'm going to use here is an UGG water and stain repellent for sheepskin and suede. And we're just going to gently mist the outside of our boots. Just give it a light coating. You don't want to drench the boot in this protectant. I recommend you do it outside in a well-ventilated area. You can see it's kind of wet in some spots because of the sprayer, but that's how you protect the boot. Then the next thing I'm going to use here is a bottle of sheepskin freshener spray, which I'll just spray on the inside of the boot to deodorize it. Just give the inside a couple of sprays, and we'll do the same for the other boot. So here is the end result of cleaning the UGG boots. Now, the brand new pair is on the left and the washed pair is on the right. And I would say that for a pair of boots that are 5 years old, that they look pretty close to being as good as new, considering what I put them through. So the salt stains on the front here, you know, they're definitely not nearly as visible. I mean, you can still see some spotting on the suede and it's a little bit stiff. And there's also a little bit of sort of dye runs here where some dark spots. But the sides here, you know, compared to a brand new pair, obviously not as new, but still looking really good. And on the back, the salt stains and the soil has been completely removed. So if you guys like my video, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.